In here I don't have two wiring colours, or do I? Yes I do. So I need one of these down there as well. So that's all the labelling. So I've labelled that DB6, so I'm going to relabel the upstairs one that was DB6 and call it DB7, and the isolator downstairs has got to be called DB7. So yeah, comes from here to there, and that one comes from... Alright, just got to test the RCBOs, but first I'm going to have a cup of tea, and I've lost the kettle. It was brought in here because I turned the electricity off. They've got an urn which is now not... All the testing's done and the labelling, and I've labelled upstairs as well. I've cleared up. Just need to do a bit of hoovering and then we're done. I don't know what sort of video this is going to turn out to be, but this is the next day. It's about 3:30 and I have just done an EICR in the remedials for that EICR in a large flat, which I'll show you in a bit. Just got to go over and do the labelling. I had to collect the laptop for the labelling. Bought a few Christmas presents. This is an amazing film, French film, Les Choristes, or The Chorus. It's just brilliant music, really good acting, very sweet film about a boys' boarding school in France in 1949. I've received a bottle of very nice wine in the post that isn't for me, so I've got to go and find where that's due to go. I've got a couple of bipods. This is a large bipod for the TDR. This is a large bipod, and I've got a smaller bipod for the TDR. And I have bought a rangefinder. So instead of using a laser measure, this you look through. It's got a reticule on it, a reticule. And what you're aiming at, like a gun sight. Well, here's where the EICR was today. It's called the Vardar Restaurant in Littlehampton and VIP Club, and there wasn't too much wrong with it. A few low insulation resistance readings, one of which I tracked down to being the actual cooker socket accessory itself, so change that, things like that. It's about a 10-year-old board, RCD protected on the sockets, 16 millimeter tails, but 100 amp cutout fuse. So okay, well, it was pretty obvious from the start. This light here, which I've replaced with a pendant, it was just without the rose, and it was this, and it was connected onto the earth and the neutral, so CPC and the neutral, not onto the line. So that's why that didn't work, and it wasn't fixed to the ceiling. And this one had this contraption. That flex was hooked over a hook in the ceiling, and so there was bare insulation showing. It's just been badly connected as well. So I mean, there was that much showing because it's missing the base. So I've just put a central light in there. I'll do the technical report after Christmas. They just have to have it before the 31st. And that was 6-way, which is 120 plus the board, 180, and then a bit of a couple of hours arsing about and some materials. So I don't know, what's that, 240, 250 pounds, something like that. Hello, Peter.
Oh, hello,
it's all done. I'll do the if it's all right by you, I'll do these after Christmas, but before the
At AOL.com.
Yes. Who's that?
It's a camera.
Oh.
That's Peter. Peter owns the restaurant. Peter. And Loretta. And Loretta owns the restaurant as well.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
If we call you in the future in the restaurant, would you like to take over or anything?
Take over?
Yeah.
The restaurant?
Just a moment, please. Wait a minute. If we have a problem with the electricity,
Yeah.
if we have something problem, would you be able to,
Yes.
on the...
Do you mean PAT?
Yeah.
Pat was that?
Portable appliance testing?
Yeah.
Do we need that by law?
Not by law, no. But you might need it by insurance.
But we need it for upstairs as well, yeah?
Not really, no.
Other
They're bringing stuff in.
Yeah.
If they're bringing stuff in. And you might, as a landlord, you might want your tenants' equipment to be PAT tested.
that's
Happy New Year! This will be after quite a bit of other footage, which I'll probably stitch together in the coming week or two. So there's 3 ring circuits here, and what I've done is used 6mm branches, fly leads, from the origin of the 3 line ring final circuits and the origin of the 3 neutral circuits. They're stitched together with the 6mm fly lead. So instead of being stitched together on the neutral bar and in the MCB, they're stitched together in these large 6mm 221 Vargos, and then there's a fly lead that goes. There's also the feed from each 3871, which comes in from 6mm instead of seeing 2 2.5s coming out of the 3871, you will see 1 6mm coming out of each one, and then that will be going. 2 of them going into here, onto those 2, and 1 of those circuits going down into here. Notice that I haven't split up the neutral and the line except in their own circuits, so that there's no eddy currents likely to be circulating here, and they each have their own CPC, which there's a CPC down each conduit to act as a CPC for these circuits, for the root of each circuit. Then we've got our additional protection. The only M2 RCDs that were in stock were 80 amp capacity. Having said that, 2 of them are to one pattern and 1 of them is to a slightly different dimension. So I hope that's of interest, and just showing where I'm getting to with this building. bringing it up to standard. I've also, since dropping the footage for the Christmas break, I have done a lot of testing and fiddling around, and I've managed to get the, I think as you might have seen, the insulation resistance up from the very low figures that we had before, and some of it just required me to take the low energy lamps out of the holders and the line and neutral to earth insulation resistance to increase to an acceptable level. We're looking at something in the region of 400 mega ohms, I think, for some of them, maybe a bit less for others, but we basically were over the limit. So I don't have to do what I was going to do, which was rewire the whole of that front reception area. Now, I've got to head into City Electrical Factors and get some downlighters and put them in the entrance. Here we are, and then excite downlights with backplates in here, all wired in. And here I've got to have my inspection label and the quarterly test, 6-monthly test on there. But you can see the 3 RCDs.